Good evening and welcome to the OGAT committee meeting of February 13th. I'm Saul Silverstein, I'm the chairman. Seated around the table in town hall, we have Mike Muddett, committee member, Dan Fitzmaurice, committee member, Robert Lim, committee member, the coordinator, Chris Kelly, and via Zoom, I have myself, committee member Josh Rolinski, committee member Gary Del Piano, recording secretary Marlene Silverstein. First item on the agenda is questions and comments. Does anyone have anything? Okay, I have a couple. Yes? Just lost the video.
Can you still hear us?
You still in the meeting, Mike? All right, we're aborting the meetup too.
Oh, go ahead, Sal. Go back. Sal, can you hear me?
I can hear you, but I don't know what's going on in town hall.
The video crashed again. We're back on with a speakerphone here.
Okay, so I can continue the meeting or no?
Please continue the meeting.
Okay, so questions and comments. Did anyone have any? I thought I heard someone say.
Well, I noticed on the agenda that there wasn't any item for the bylaws, so should we just cover that here?
I was going to.
All right.
All right.
That's fine.
Before that, I got an email from Pua Ford. I got this email in the middle of last month, actually. And Pua used to be the Woodbridge coordinator for their government access station. I think she now does something for the League of Women Voters. And she sent an email that said that you probably already know that Verizon is buying Frontier nationwide. And there's a PURA proceeding about it. None of the cable advisory councils or the statewide video advisory council were made participants of any kind, but the Office of Consumer Counsel has included video in their massive interrogatories to the companies. In particular, there's a question about Verizon plans to interconnect with community access channels in the Altice areas, which is OCC-183. And there are also many questions to both companies about statewide video access advisory councils and community access support. So I haven't heard anything since then. I think it's something we may want to monitor as the Frontier and Verizon merger takes place. That's all I know about it, actually. I tried looking on the PURA website today. I couldn't find anything, so we'll see what happens with that. Secondly, so as Robert rightly said, there's nothing on the agenda for the bylaws, and I was going to bring it up here. So last night, the Board of Selectmen met to approve the bylaws, and it looked like they were about ready to go, and Selectman Goldblatt had a question about a paragraph of the bylaws on the third page that involved holding an emergency meeting. And he wanted to make sure that that met all the FOIA requirements. FOIA is Freedom of Information Act. So they discussed that a little bit, and Mike Muddett was representing us at Town Hall last night at the Board of Selectmen meeting. And as I said, they discussed it a little bit, and then did approve the bylaws with a statement. I have it written here. The board unanimously approved the request from the OGAT committee to approve their bylaws as presented, with the addition of the words "in compliance with FOIA" to the paragraph about emergency meetings. So I have a letter into Town Attorney Vincent Marino, request asking about that and if he was going to write language or not. The thing is that when I wrote that specific paragraph, I looked at the FOIA requirement, And that paragraph, to my knowledge, is in compliance with the FOIA. And I said that in the letter I sent to Mr. Marino. What I asked him was, should we change the paragraph to state an emergency meeting may be held without complying with the preceding notice requirements, so long as the meeting and the minutes of such meeting comply with the requirements of the Connecticut Freedom of Information Act. So I asked what his recommendation was, if any. And so we're waiting. I just sent that today, so I expect to get an answer before our next meeting. Any questions on that?
This is Rob. Just to add to that, the context behind Selectman Goldblatt's statement is that he thought that first of all, he appreciated the initiative in creating the bylaws. So, in case you didn't catch that, I wanted to relay that. But the idea was that perhaps they would be used as a reference or template for other boards or committees. I would just interpret his feedback that he would like to see some explicit mention of FOIA in the provision about emergency meetings. I don't know if we need anything specifically from Councilor Marino, but I guess we'll wait and see what he says.
Yeah, that's why I asked him, what would you like us to say? And I gave my suggestion. What the FOIA actually says is in section, I think it's 1-225 Part D. It says that you can hold an emergency meeting without notice, but you have to send out the minutes within 72 hours after the meeting that gives the reason why you held the emergency meeting, and of course documents typically what's in the minutes of a meeting. So in any event, the other thing that actually covered us in all of this was the very last paragraph in our proposed bylaws, which dealt with conflicts, which said if any of these bylaws conflict with a higher level document like the statutes of the state of Connecticut, that higher level document will govern. So I think we were covered in any case, but we'll see what Attorney Marino says. Okay. Next item on the agenda, if there's no more comment, is to approve the minutes of the January 9th meeting. Can I have a motion to approve?
Motion.
Mike Muddick?
People raising their hand.
Yeah.
Oh, well, Josh is raising.
It looks like Josh is
waving.
seconding if you want that.
Okay.
Fine,
I'll
I'll
give
second, fine.
All right. I sent them all out to you, I believe yesterday, so I'm assuming you all had a chance to read them. Is there any comment?
None.
I mean, I noticed in the part where Josh shared his ideas, I mean, it was pretty detailed. I guess the question is, do we really want to be that detailed in terms of like this kind of idea forming kind of discussion? Because I'm afraid it might be misconstrued as to like we've decided or agreed to proceed with these things.
You faded out at the end. I'm not quite sure what you're asking.
So my question is, do we want to be so detailed about a discussion about potential ideas? Because what I worry is that somebody who wasn't there might read these minutes and think that we have agreed to or committed to doing these things. Whereas I took it as a discussion of, what could be possible.
Yeah, so in the requirement for minutes is actually you have to record who was present, what votes were taken, and how the votes went. And that's it. We actually provide a lot more detail in our minutes and always have. So I'm not sure. I understand your point. I'm not sure if it really is committing us to anything.
No, I just don't. I mean, look, I think the meeting is available on video, right? If anybody wants to see what the discussion is. So I guess I just don't understand why we would describe that discussion in that degree of detail.
All right, and you just want to remove it and just say several ideas were proposed and discussed? Or want to leave it as is? What does the committee want to do?
I mean, I'd like to hear other members' thoughts on this.
So my thought is, I don't think it hurts, and I don't think there's a lot of people sitting and waiting for our minutes. And like you said, I think most of us would probably see it on video. I think the first line of it is basically Josh offered some ideas for additional programming. So I don't, and it wasn't in any of the parts of the agenda. There was under questions and comments, right? It wasn't on any of the parts of the agenda that we were making decisions. So I'm fine leaving it as is, just as more like, it's been helpful in the past for us to go back into our minutes and be like, oh yeah, we talked about that idea and this is what we did. I don't think it will help or hurt to leave them in. Is my 2 cents.
Anyone else?
I don't really think it makes any difference one way or the other, truthfully.
Unless it makes a difference to Josh. How do you feel, Josh?
I don't think that there's anything in what is written in the minutes that really is that much of a lightning rod that I would say we got to strike that. I appreciate the transparency that it's there, and it doesn't bother me that my name is attached to it. So
Okay. I do think that this discussion about, so if I had realized that we were going to recount this in detail, I would have voiced more strongly a concern about this idea of running election spots, because I feel very ambivalent about it. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, if I'm the minority opinion, I would just ask that we revise the statement. The members were in favor of exploring this idea further, to some members were in favor of exploring this idea further.
I think that's fair.
So what are we going to do?
Change it to some members were okay to continue the ideation on the ideas proposed by Josh.
Well, in item number 1, it says the members were in favor of exploring this idea further. And I would just propose we state some members were in favor of exploring this idea further.
Okay.
That is fair.
And just stop at that point. Forget about the podcast sentence then, or
You can keep the rest. I mean, I guess if you're mentioning this part, right? This discussion about the minutes, you can state that I just don't understand why we're going into this level of detail. That would
okay.
be fun.
All right, so we will remove items 2, 3, and 4 and
No, that's
change.
fine.
What?
No, that's not what we're agreeing to. We're just, all he wants to change right now is to say that some agreed with continuing discussions on these items, not all members. It makes it sound like there was a vote or something. That's all he's asking to change.
It says the members were in favor of exploring these ideas further.
Yes, he's asking for some members.
Some. Change the to some.
Okay,
Next.
leave the rest, the other, everything else in?
Yes.
No
Okay.
further comments.
Got it. Thank you. Okay. Any other comments? Hearing none, all in favor of approving the minutes?
As amended.
Say aye.
Aye.
Josh raised his hand.
I abstain
Gary abstains,
because I wasn't there.
right?
Oh, you can still see us. We just can't see you. Okay.
Thank you. Next, budget review. I think we're pretty much on track. There's still a little confusion in it as they, when Chris was promoted to coordinator, they created new lines because they found out they had been using the wrong budget line items for a while. So there's duplicate line items for several of the original lines. but it seems pretty much on track for now. Any questions?
I'm here.
Okay. Move on to the coordinator report.
Hold on, actually, sorry, I have one question.
Yes.
Oh, is that, okay, maybe that's what you just said. The camera operators is the one that got split, right?
Camera operators got split, and I thought the coordinator got split too. Yeah, the coordinator got split also. There's two line items: SAL coordinator and prof services coordinator.
Okay. No, I wasn't expecting the professional services camera to be empty, but now I get it. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, it just made life a little confusing for us trying to keep track of what's going on here. Okay.
Yep.
Next item is coordinator report. And let's see what happened this month. So 20 meetings during the month and another 8 from prior months. So the total number that we have done for this fiscal year from July through January is 92 meetings, of which 84 were actually board type meetings and the other 8 were special events. Upcoming special events, the POCD workshop, the second one is on April 2nd. The annual town budget hearing is on April of 2025. I don't, did they vote on that last night? I think they might have voted on a date for that last night. Most of the annual town meeting. Excuse me?
Yes, I wrote it down. Hold on. So the meeting is May 14th and the town referendum is the 21st.
The referendum or the annual town meeting?
Town meeting's the 14th. And the referendum, the voting is the 21st.
What about the annual town budget hearing? Or that's set by the Board of Finance, actually.
Yeah,
It'll be on the website.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry, what are we doing? We're trying to figure out the special.
The future events, yeah.
Yeah, so we don't broadcast the referendum other than the results, but the annual town meeting we do broadcast, so that's April 14th, and I don't have the date for the budget hearing, but that'll be updated by the next coordinator report. And the Memorial Day Parade is always at the end of May. So that'll be up to date. I'm sure the date will be set by then. In terms of hit data, we have live hits on TeleView and Cloudcast, 127. Video on demand hits on Cloudcast, 19. YouTube live plus video on demand, 1,452. And the average monthly YouTube hit count over the last 12 months is 1,819 per month.
Thank you, Tractor Parade.
Yeah. Okay.
Budget hearing is April 22nd.
The hearing is April 22nd?
Yes. But the town meeting is May 14th.
May 14th. Got it. Well, we'll correct, oh, I guess we'll vote on correcting that. Other information and comments. No outages were reported from Optimum, Frontier, or Comcast during the month, and we started covering the Case Memorial Library Commission in January, and that is programs number 9 and 10 on the list on page 1. He did not broadcast live. That was recorded for later broadcast and then broadcast. Any questions on the coordinator report?
I thought the library meeting was great.
Yeah, I saw it.
And never occurred to me to just film a meeting and play it not live, but it worked great.
Yeah.
Did that for the recycling as well. So
Do you have the capability? You do have the capability of remote live broadcast.
we do, but weren't trying to make things too complicated for first time thing.
Chris, I can't, Chris, I can't hear what you're saying.
So the microphone's there?
Yeah.
Yep.
So Chris just said they weren't trying to, go for gold and live broadcast at the same time, but we have the capability. just relies on a steady internet connection.
Right,
Okay.
and we don't really know what, the library has their own separate,
Oh, they're not part of the town's infrastructure?
No, no.
Interesting.
so I was hesitant to,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, that was part of it too. We don't really support them, and
Okay.
we weren't sure if that was gonna be able to happen, so.
Learn something new every day.
Provided by the state.
Okay.
That internet connectivity.
Possible. CEN does a lot of stuff. Onward and
Okay.
upward, Saul.
Excuse me?
Continue.
Okay, so I'll take a vote to approve the coordinator report. Hang on, there's one more part of this, and I didn't print out my own copy. It's the hit data.
What was spread?
Yeah,
Oh, that's the tractor parade last year. Got it.
which I can't find right now. The YouTube data report. I'm bringing it up. Sorry about that. All right, so subscriber count keeps going up. We're up to it looks like something on the order of 380 subscribers. The view count for the year 2025 is the green line on the chart. I don't see a green line. Oh, there it is. It's kind of hidden behind the yellow line, I think. Nope.
It's the same color as 2023.
Would it help to share?
Gotta do something about those colors.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you don't see it because there's only 1 month of it.
It's a dot somewhere.
Yeah, it's a dot in January, probably.
You'll see it next month.
Next month it will be a line. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, now I'll take a motion to approve the coordinator report with the corrections to the dates of the annual town budget hearing and annual town meeting.
Approve.
Do I have a motion?
Aye.
Yeah, Josh is raising his hand. I
Aye.
need a second.
Second.
Gary,
Gary.
second. Josh and Gary, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Got you that time, Mike. I got you.
Yeah, you win. You win.
I think that was unanimous. Thank you.
Yes, it was.
Okay. Action items. We closed one last time. And
Saul, when you look away from your computer, we don't hear you at all.
I'm sorry. We closed one last time, and there are 3 left. The one at the very bottom was to draft a memo to the town departments informing them that OGAT can record their meetings and other events. Chris, you had completed the memo, and you were going to issue it. Did that happen?
It has not been issued yet. I sent it out to be reviewed. I just wanted to get a last minute, confirmation that it was all good. And I'm still waiting to hear back from the selectman's office on that. So
Who did you send it to?
I sent it to the selectman's office.
Who?
The selectman's office.
All the selectmen or just first selectman?
The first selectman's office.
All right, I want to poke your head in there and ask them.
I'll remind them tomorrow. See where they're at.
Okay. Thank you.
I said I would wait to hear back before I send it out.
Yeah. How about the equipment schematic? You were going to send us something. I didn't get anything.
Yep. I'm working on that now. I have a file that I'm working on to send out to you guys. I'll send it out Tuesday next week. I'm finishing up a couple things on it.
Okay, and then the other one was to update procedures for changes since publication, including the effect of switch over from Discover to Teleview for streaming and VOD.
That was all set. I did that
happened
last
a long time ago. Where are
Yeah,
we with
that
this?
one's all set.
That's done?
Yep.
Thank you. So we're knocked another one off the list. Thank you. Any questions on those? None? Okay, CAC grant. Still waiting for the request from CAC. If they issue a request, last year they just divvied up the money to all the different towns and boards of eds.
Now, what you're waiting for is the check, which you won't get till about September because I have to wait till I get the July 1st payment from Altice.
So do you know how it's going to be handled this year at this point, or do you haven't had it? Your committee hasn't had a chance to discuss it.
There's nothing to discuss anymore. You will get your checks
Okay.
when I get the full $100,000 from Altice.
All right. Okay, equipment inventory. I don't believe we've added any new equipment since last month, correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay. Committee vacancies, we still have one opening. If anyone watching would like to be a member, please contact the First Selectman's office. OGAT coverage of additional board meetings. As we discussed, we've started covering the Library Commission in January. We also had covered the Recycling Committee. Anything else on that to discuss?
Question for Chris. Have there been further discussions with the Library Commission? I was under the impression that was a one-off recording.
So that was just a one-time thing that we're going to do to kind of
Right.
showcase what they do there.
Yeah, exactly.
And that was the idea I had.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
There's no agreement to do it on a monthly basis.
I didn't hear that.
We are not adding the Library Commission to our regular programming every month.
We are or we are not.
Are not.
Or not. It's still in the discovery phase. So, we're going around doing one meeting for every board.
Cool.
Yep.
You have any luck with I think you were gonna go and look at the list again. Try to find some boards that were meeting.
Yes and no. Yeah, I haven't had a chance to look back at the list. I did have a conversation with Mr. Zoli. I think she's trying to make more appointments so that more of the board meetings go active. So he asked if I had any recommendations for several boards, but yeah, that's about it. Only update on that.
Okay.
So
Whatever happened with the
yeah, I mean,
Board of
Saul,
Health?
I mean,
I
if
thought we
we-
were going to do the Board of Health.
yes, and that was one that is currently missing members, and that's one of the ones that started the conversation with Mr. Zoli and myself. So yes, we should.
Yeah, I think we chose 6. Library Commission went forward, Recycling went forward, Fred Wolf Park, the chair says it's okay, and I think we just need to work out when that would be. Board of Health, not functioning. Economic Development isn't meeting.
Right.
And what's the last one? I think it's one of yours, Dan.
I'm looking at the list now, but I don't think it meets. I think that was the conclusion.
Right, yeah.
You know, I can't, there's something wrong with the volume here. I cannot hear when people
sorry,
are
we
on the
can do
table.
better.
We just said we have to talk louder.
So I heard Library, Recycling Committee, Board of Health, Economic Development, and there were 2 others I didn't hear, or one other I
Yeah,
didn't
so
hear.
half the boards aren't actually meeting, so we have to find other boards that are. Of the other 3, 2 we've done, and the third we're still dealing with the logistics.
The only one missing from your list, Saul, is Fred Wolf Park, and we just have to find the right meeting to join.
Fred
Yeah,
Wolf
they're doing
Park?
that.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
I think Selectman Carangelo said that they were doing some sort of public workshop later this month. I don't Like, I don't know if it's better to
We
do.
might have already, or we might have just did it. Hold on.
The workshop's on the 27th
Yeah,
of
February?
February.
Do a full meeting, then a workshop.
Although the workshops could be good to cover just period, because a lot of it is like presentations from our consultant.
Yeah, it just turned into a lot of people walking around and
I gotcha.
very open, discussion.
All right, but you're getting the schedule of committee meetings?
Yeah, I'll make sure I, coordinate with them and figure out the next official meeting.
Excuse my lack of decorum, but I'm just gonna get closer to the mic.
There you go. I like it. Actually frames the shot better too.
Try to do my best to,
Okay,
Myself, sure.
are we done with this yet?
Yes, sir. Go on.
Okay. Job descriptions. So there's 3 of them sitting up on the Google Drive. And I've seen comments by Gary Del Piano. I made some comments and some comments by Dan Fitzmaurice. I haven't seen any comments from anyone else. I would really
What if
appreciate it if you
you
guys
do?
would look at them, add some comments or suggestions. Don't do a edit, just add a comment or suggestion, and we'll kind of combine those into something that makes sense, I hope.
So I made quite a few this morning. Are you not seeing them?
Yeah, I'm
I
not
didn't
seeing,
see them when I looked, and I may have looked before you did them.
yeah, they're missing.
9:39 a.m. today.
I see you as editing it. I just don't see any comments.
Oh, I see. It still says saving.
Oh, all right. Well,
That's no good. That's definitely not good. I thought it would be helpful if we could align on, generally speaking, what we think the coordinator's position is. Because the way this job description is, have you read it, Chris?
no, I haven't.
I mean, it basically suggests that you report to the committee,
Right.
which provides the direction.
Okay.
Is that
that is traditionally how we got.
That's,
And
this true?
sounds about right, yes.
yes.
Okay? Is that the way it should be, though? 'Cause I think that's not many of the other boards work that way.
This
So I
board
guess
has
what's the
always
alternative?
operated that way for the last 27 years.
Are you thinking like it reports to the first selectman is the alternative? I'm just trying to see where do we mean the other way? Like other commissions, not necessarily Chris.
So for instance, the Board of Finance, there's a director of finance for the town who's responsible for the finance of the town and kind of reports to the board so the Board of Finance oversees that, but I think it's pretty clear that John works for the first selectman, right? I don't think John works for the board.
I would argue
John works for the
believe he
town.
does work for the board. Yeah, he works for the town. Jim's the chief executive.
Yeah, exactly. So why is
John
it
works
different
for the
us?
town, not the first selectman, for the town.
I mean, I think a little bit we're getting into semantics because at the end of the day, like there's a hierarchy to even boards, right? Like the board of selectmen had to sign off on our bylaws last night. So at the end of the
I
day,
get that.
Chris can report to us. At the end of the day, we still report to first selectman and board of selectmen too. So
But we don't make hiring decisions.
We
Correct.
don't? Of
All
course
hire
we do.
decisions go through-
We make recommendations to hire.
yes, recommendations, not decisions. I mean, that's no different than any other reporting relationship, right? A hiring manager may make a recommendation to a higher up to hire.
I've been confused by this for all the months, right? So I agree. I understand what the original intention was of the group, but in practice, I don't think what just happened, for example, with Chris is in the spirit of that concept, which is fine. Hi, Chris. It's great that you're here. But I think the actual employment relationship between the coordinator and the committee has changed, and that's okay. I just
Wait, so you're saying that
maybe 20 years ago that was the case, especially when was a contractor, coordinator is now an employee of the town strictly, and that is different. So that might need to be reflected in the job description.
All right, the contractor relationship was purely the choice of the person in the position. He wanted to be a contract employee rather than a town employee, and we accommodated that request.
Sure.
Okay, it had nothing to do with anything else other than his personal preference because of, I don't know what, his financial situation or what. He wanted to be an independent contractor, and that's how he was hired.
But like, I think for
It
like
had nothing to do with the job description or who he reported to or not reported to.
Sure. All I'm saying is now it's different.
Chris, do you mind if you?
Why?
There's no garbage in there. No garbage. Yep. Thank you.
I think if I'm hearing your point right, Rob, it's worth trying to get it right because it is different now. Like, Chris, if you don't come to your job for 3 weeks, it's not our responsibility to write you up for it.
Right. I answer to, I don't, right. Like exactly. Yes. So.
Yeah, I think it's more nuanced than that, but yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, a company's HR department would write you up. Like I've written up probably 2 people in my entire life for that kind of stuff. HR handles most of that paperwork.
Well, I mean, usually your manager's responsible for managing you.
Bringing it up to HR, yes, but because the OGAT committee sets the kind of the direction of OGAT, therefore and directs Chris, like all these action items we've given him, those are items to assign him. I believe there is a reporting relationship here, but there is, like I said, there's just a hierarchy of any position, right? Where at the end of the day, Chris works for the town, so therefore he's, I don't know what the word is. He's also responsible to HR department in town, the first selectman in town, because he's the chief executive. It's no different than any other company in that regard. We give him the direction and set the direction of OGAT. And, there are other elements at play in town, which are just, that's how it is.
Sure. But the planning and zoning person doesn't report to the planning and zoning.
Oh, he 100% does.
Like in his job description, like that would be a place to.
I mean, I don't know. That'd be a great place.
But that would be a place to confirm that we're doing it right. Let's look at a lot of them staff, right? Your colleagues have relationships with boards and commissions. And so how do they describe the relationship? Just if we're going to do the work, we should do it.
It would be interesting to know, like finance director and town planning zoning, the enforcement officer, what does their job description say as far as reporting relationship? I'd be interested in that. But my understanding is finance director reports to the Board of Finance. TPZ reports to TPZ. There's just other relationships in town. When I was the chair of planning and wetlands in Monroe, the wetlands enforcement officer was my employee. 1/3 of him, because that was all we had for a wetlands. But I had to write his review every year as the chairman.
And I think it's a good thing to bring up, Rob, because we just went through it as a group. So perhaps getting it accurate now will help us moving forward. So I think looking at how do we get access to those other ones? It'd be an easy task, I think, to see what the other ones look like.
Who's technically the head of HR in Orange?
Is that John Zabrantly?
Is it the finance director still, or did that go roll to the first selectman? I don't know. Does anybody know that? Saul, do you know that?
No. When I was dealing with the coordinator position, I actually spoke to both of them.
Yeah, I think they both kind of share that
And
role.
each referred me to the other.
Okay.
Yeah, so the note I made is I think the committee provides governance and direction, but I think day-to-day supervision rests in town hall.
No one in town hall supervises him day to day. in this
Well,
position.
we're not supervising him day to day, so. I
Well,
don't know.
no one in town hall is supervising him day to day in his job as OGAT coordinator.
Interesting. Okay, anyway,
Is that right, Chris? Does Paul supervise you in regards to OGAT?
No, he does
No.
not.
that sounds like a good
I mean,
job
the-
to have.
What?
I said that sounds like a good job to have.
Well, I mean, that's kind of what we're getting at with the monthly reports, right? We meet once a month, we review the monthly reports, what happened, and then provide them direction. If there's something bad happened, we provide them direction for the next month. It's not a, like,
Yeah.
it's not, I'm not standing in the chair behind him, no, but
Right.
we're a board oversight.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible to belabor this point, but I mean, I think it would make more sense with a large, like the superintendent of the schools, or like the head of the library, or even the finance director. But OGAT is so small, right?
Yeah.
It's not like, you say that you're the head of OGAT, and that's like, you have this huge thing that you're reporting up, and you have managerial responsibilities underneath that. Although the other question I had was, does the assistant coordinator report to the coordinator?
Yes.
It used to.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
That is how that worked.
Because the assistant coordinator job description, I think, says they report to the coordinator and the committee, which I found confusing.
Well, did we, the assistant coordinator would be present. I mean, I was present at the OGAT meetings when Ron was here.
Yeah.
And in that sense, I would answer, I would provide a report that would be brought into the coordinator report.
Mm-hmm.
And my duty was to provide data, not the full report, but part of that report was the data from that was supposed to be provided by me, like the month, the hit count, like the view count for all the videos and stuff like that was my job to provide for the report.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I appreciate the education. I am going to figure out how to get all my comments in here, or suggested updates. So, Sol, you should be seeing a lot more of that. I did think it would be helpful to align on the coordinator's position before we tackle the other, specifically the assistant one. Would be my suggestion.
Okay.
My only question that I didn't put in the comments, so I'm sorry for that, is, and again, it really comes down to what the town's policies on this are. In previous HR roles, you have to put in if there's any physical requirements, whether you have to be able to lift 50 pounds or whatever. It's rather important when it comes to ADA requirements in a future applicant. So if there is any, and I believe there are, right? We have cameras, we have equipment, you go to offsite shoots. So I believe there are a good amount of physical requirements in the job that we should be documenting.
Yeah, does it actually say you have to lift 50 pounds? Because that's probably illegal. I think they're not required to lift more than 30 pounds
It's
or 32.
Ability to sit and or stand for prolonged periods, must
Yeah.
be able to file and retrieve documents, and must be able to lift and transport audio and video equipment.
Okay, that's fine.
In there?
I mean, you have to have a car, so I guess you have to be able to drive a car, but I guess you
I
can,
mean,
you can
have a valid license. No, there's one too.
Yeah.
Is that in there? Is that what you're reading?
Yes.
Where?
Which part? The driver's license?
No, the lifting stuff. I didn't see it.
Physical effort required.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm looking at the wrong one. Look at the camera operator. But we do need to add that to the camera operator one.
Okay. Anyway, all right. So yes, we're gonna all continue to work on this.
Okay,
Yep, it does. That actually meets my thing.
we'll tackle the coordinator one first. All right,
Hey, all Robert's
anything
Lane's
else?
Comments are showing up now.
Oh, really?
I was just looking at the wrong one. Yeah, there's a lot of them.
Oh,
Your comments. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, these purple ones.
Yeah, they're all there. Okay. Sorry, go ahead, Saul.
I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Oh, where's Gary?
Yeah, where's
Yes.
Gary?
Josh raised his hand. Give me a second.
Did we lose Gary? I think we
Mike
lost him.
Muddett,
Yep.
thank you.
He dropped that a little while ago.
I thought we just hid the non-video people, but
No, he's gone.
all right. I guess we're done.
We're done. Thank you very much.